Hello class, we're now doing section 5.4, which is about systems of non-linear equations, and we're going to solve them by the substitution method or the addition/elimination method. Okay, so let's start with number 1. So if I look at number 1, they specifically ask us to solve using substitution. Before I start solving, I like to think about what the graphs of these look like. So the first equation would be a line, and the second equation would be a parabola that opens upward. So I know that I could have up to 2 points of intersection or 2 solutions. Okay? So let's substitute. It's all set up. Look, I already have y isolated in the second equation, so I'm going to get x plus, instead of y, x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 8. Now let's gather like terms and set it equal to 0. X squared minus 3x, that'll be minus 4 equals 0. When I factor, that's what I get. And so I get x equals 4 or x equals negative 1. But remember, we're not done. We now have to plug them back in and figure out what y is. So let's see. If x is 4, y is also 4. And if x is negative 1, y would be 9. And so there is my solution set. That's a piece of cake, right? Okay, let's do number 2. Okay, number 2, again, let's do substitution. And one of the ways I can tell that really I don't have a choice except for substitution is that these two equations don't have any like terms besides the constant. The top one has x squared and y squared, and the bottom one just has x and y. So once again, the graph of the first equation would be a circle centered at 0, 0. And the graph of a second equation would be a line. Okay, so let's solve. Let's see. I'm going to isolate y. Y is equal to 9 minus x. Now let's substitute. X squared plus, instead of y, I put 9 minus x, quantity squared, is equal to 41. Don't forget to multiply correctly. X squared plus, this should have 3 terms when you multiply it out. 81 minus 18x plus x squared equals 41. Now once again, gather like terms and set it equal to 0. 2x squared minus 18x, that'll be plus 40 equals 0. Factor out of 2, x squared minus 9x plus 20 equals 0. 2 times x minus 5 times x minus 4 equals 0. So my two x's are 5 and 4. Okay? So if x is 5, it turns out y is 4. And if x is 4, it turns out y is 5. So there is my solution set. Okay? I know I did that fast, but you can rewind and try it again. Okay, number 3. Now the first equation is kind of different. What you may want to do is solve for y, and if you solve for y, you get 90 over x, which is has the same shape as our 1 over x graph that we did way back in chapter, I think it was 3. And so it's actually hyperbola that's been rotated. And the second equation is a line again. Okay? So I'm going to do substitution. I'm going to solve for y, just because that seems to be what I always do. So y is equal to negative 19 minus x. And now let's substitute it. X times, instead of y, I put negative 19 minus x equals 90. Negative 19x minus x squared equals 90. Okay. Let's set this equal to 0. But I don't want any negative leading coefficients. So I'll get x squared plus 19x plus 90 equals 0. Double check that that is correct. And when we factor this, we get x plus 9 times x plus 10 equals 0. So if x equals negative 9 or x equals negative 10, we need to find the y's that go with it. And it turns out that what we're going to get is when x is negative 9, y is negative 10. And when x is negative 10, y is negative 9. And there's my solution set. Oops, can you read that? There you go. Okay, so that is solving systems of nonlinear equations by substitution. Okay, now let's try the addition method. So I'm going to scoot right over here. Let's see if you can see this. There we go. Number 4. Okay, now if they didn't tell me to do the addition method, the way I know that I should is that these have like terms. Okay, the first equation, that graph would be a circle, and the second equation, that graph would be an ellipse. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the first equation by -9. So let's write that underneath my second equation. So if I multiply by -9, I will get -9x squared minus 9y squared is equal to -36. Is that right? Apparently it is. Okay. So when I eliminate, I'm going to have -5x squared. The y's are eliminated, equals 0. Well, that's easy. I get that x equals 0. Now, if x is 0, I need to find the y that goes with it. But be very careful. I'm going to use the first equation to do this. So I have 0 plus y squared is equal to 4. Well, if y squared equals 4, that means y could be plus or minus 2. So that means a single x led to 2 different y values. So my solution set this time is, if x is 0, y is 2, or, wait, let's scoot over so you can see it, if x is 0, y is -2. Okay? Alright. Number 5. Oh, this is so easy, it's not even funny. Okay, it's all set up, all I need to do is add down, huh? 2x squared is equal to, let's see, what is that going to be? 82? No, that's not right. 72. 72. I can add. Okay. Divide both sides by 2. X squared equals 36. Now, once again, be very careful. This tells me that x could be 6 or that x could be -6. Because remember, you have to consider both possibilities. Now, when you plug this back in, it turns out that if x is 6, let's see, I think I might need my calculator here. Let's see. If x is 6, and I use the first equation, 117 minus 36 is 81, then y could be plus or minus 9. And the same thing, if x is -6, when you square it, you get positive 36 again. So once again, you get y is plus or minus 9. Now you cannot leave the answer like that. That would not make me happy. Let's list them out. Okay, so I'm listing all 4 ordered pairs this time. 4 ordered pairs. Put them in the cool set brackets, and there it is. Okay, so now I'm going to, oh, let's do 6. What the heck? Okay, once again, I don't even have to multiply anything. This is already set up. I just add down. 4x squared is equal to 16. X squared equals 4. So that means x equals 2 or x equals -2. Okay. Am I going to get 4 solutions again? I might, because looking back, number 6, the first equation, that is a hyperbola, and the second equation is a circle. Hyperbola and a circle could definitely intersect at 4 points. Okay, so let's plug this in. If x is 2, that'd be 4, so y would have to be 1. So y could be plus or minus 1 for both of these. Whoops, helps if you can see that. So you guys need to plug that in and do the math to convince yourself. Okay, so the solutions would be 2, 1, 2, -1, -2, 1, -2, -1. And there they are. There are the 4 points of intersection. Okay. I'll let you guys do number 7, and then I'll do part 2. We'll do the word problems.